design era is the arts and crafts era. This era spans from about the 1860s to the early 1900s, so it overlaps with much of the Victorian era that we previously looked at, and was very much a reaction to Victorian design elements that we saw then. They were reacting to what they called the impoverished state of the decorative arts. They emphasized traditional craftsmanship over mechanized and commercial aspects of Victorian design. Ironically, this was a movement that saw a great deal of consumer and commercial success. That's how these things tend to go. On the European side of this movement were a couple of standout individuals. The first is John Ruskin. He was a staunch critic of the Victorian era. He wrote about politics and economics, natural science, art, and lots of other topics. He was very much a cross-genre kind of guy. He probably would have made a very good IDS major. He was one of the first to write about what we would now call environmentalism. Sustainability and the importance of human craft were common topics for him in his writing. In his art, Ruskin's main works revolved around utilizing the handcrafted look and themes of the medieval era in Europe. He saw it as a nobler age than the one that he found himself in. Like I said, he was a critic of his times. He used a great deal of ornate and painstaking detail in his works, trying to evoke that feeling of the pre-mechanized world. The other prominent British designer of this era would be William Morris. And again, he was a writer and artist and did quite a bit of work with textile design, actually. Again, he used more natural elements, trying to work against the mechanization and of art and design that he saw happening in the Industrial Revolution in the Victorian era. In the United States, the giant standout individual in the arts and crafts movement is Frank Lloyd Wright. He was most famous for his architectural works and interior design. We have many, many fine examples of his work right here in the Midwest. I'm actually from up by Mason City in Iowa, and we have a number of homes and commercial buildings there that are still in active use that were designed by Frank Lloyd Wright and his designers. Many homes and buildings like this exist throughout the Midwest and the East. This is one of his stained glass windows. It's called the Tree of Life, rather. It uses natural themes, but it does it in a more geometric display than what we saw with Ruskin and so forth before. It's an attempt to combine the aesthetic of nature with the mathematical engineering of human endeavors. So it's kind of, Frank Lloyd Wright was really big on trying to say, hey, nature is very important. I want to have nature in all of my work, but I also want to be able to combine that with the human, straight lines and angles and things like that. So it was an interesting play between the two. This creates, a very striking display, and it looks interesting and even somewhat contemporary, even, nearly a century later. This is the Johnson Wax headquarters in Racine, Wisconsin. Again, we see the hand of nature here. You have to have columns to hold up the ceiling. So, why not evoke things like giant mushrooms or trees or something like that and have the light filtering through stained glass, so it's sort of like filtering through the leaves, in a forest canopy. Why be plain when you can make an office look interesting? I wish more offices were built like this. I would very much prefer to work in something that was kind of cool looking than all the boring cubicles I've spent most of my adult life in. Frank Lloyd Wright did a lot with furniture as well. We actually have many examples of this style on the UNI campus. In Lang, there's some excellent examples, and many of the other buildings as well. One of Frank Lloyd Wright's most famous houses is one called Falling Water. And it really does seem to grow from its environment. Even though it's these very, straight lines and right angles and so forth, it fits within that spot. It feels natural. It feels as if it could have grown from that spot. There's actually a stream that you see in the picture that actually flows through part of the, underneath part of the house. It's just a fascinating building and wonderfully well executed. There is a video that I have embedded in this section on e-learning. There's also a link here. This is done by Cristobal Villa. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but it shows how it's an animation that he did, and it shows how falling water is integrated into its environment, and you can see, how it's supposed to sort of grow from that environment by, having computer animation actually make it grow from that environment. So please watch that video after you are completed, after you've completed watching this video lecture.
A lot of the main things are framing and engraving. They're big sellers, and woodshop as well. We also do the store. We offer cake decorating classes. We offer pottery classes. We do the ceramics. It's something that families can come do, but it's also something that a single soldier can come do. And even if you don't feel like you're good at it, it still can be an outlet.
It's Baby Big Mouth! Surprise! It's a Baby Big Mouth Surprise Egg Learn a Word. Having fun with arts and crafts. B. U. T. T. O. N. S. And what's that spell? Buttons. B. U. T. T. O. N. S. Buttons. Now for a spelling surprise. Surprise! Disney Frozen. Shake, shake, shake. Disney Frozen! Fun figurines? Whoa! Marshmallow! And now a spelling celebration. Thanks for cracking us up. Bye-bye. It's Baby Big Mouth. Subscribe for surprises. Surprise! It's a surprise party with colorful ooze. So let's see what putty colors we have and see what color wins. Ready?